Interesting.
All right. Welcome back. Welcome in. You found us once and again. Welcome into the huddle. Let's shoot the gap, the rabbit hole fantasy football focus show, spanning the generation gaps of the 20s, 30s, and 40s. I am your humble MC, Brian Amigo Baldwin, and it's my honor, my pleasure to introduce Connor, the Gut Marshall.
What's up, people?
I switched it on you there, Doc.
Keep them guessing.
I was ready.
But I usually give those honors to the Doc because he's definitely deserving. Connor's just kind of was lucky there for the joke.
I am lucky.
So again, so for real, it's my pleasure. It's my honor. Introduce Ethan, the Doc Marshall. Ethan, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. We were actually just talking before we started up. I'm facing the gut this week, and we were talking about how no matter what the circumstances are, how like much our team, like last year in the league we played in, I made the playoffs and he didn't, but he still beat me both times we made it. We keep going into Monday night and he has his kicker and I'm up by 30 points and I won't trust it.
Oh my God. Sweet.
That's my life right now.
We just got a notice just right now that Nick Chubb is playing tomorrow.
Ooh, that's good for Dwayne.
Yeah.
Does that convince you to start Hunt now?
Oh, is that a positive to start Hunt?
Yeah, we talked about that on the last show.
Okay, yeah, you're right. That is a good thing. So, yeah, if you guys, you're tuning in. We talked earlier, and I'm wavering between starting Kareem Hunt or Chase Edmonds in the flex. And all these guys say to do that, but all the metrics that you read on all the fantasy websites and every metric that you can read says start Chase Edmonds, right? But in this situation, like they were talking about, Ethan, tell me why I should start Kareem Hunt. I know this is kind of an unorthodox way to start the show, but it kind of fell that way. So let's just ride this mule while it's moving. Convince me, man.
Okay, so when we're looking at games of Chase Edmonds that you've had him so far, where he is, he's the featured back. You've been let down every single time, right? Kareem Hunt, when Chubb is there, has been great. Like you've been totally happy with it. He's almost gotten into 20 points, right? And so that right there, that's a notch in favor of Hunt. But then you also have, let's look at the games and the game script the teams are playing against. Yeah, both of them not great defenses, but if you're going to bet against a running defense, I'm going to bet against the Texans.
Yep.
All right. Another notch for Hunt. And then even further, the Arizona game is taking place in a dome. Kyler loves to take control, right? And that's what he does. Deshaun Watson hasn't been doing that as much. I mean, he does, run, but he's not as run happy as Kyler Murray is. And the game is it's a weather game, man. And
who plays quarterback for Cleveland?
Oh, I'm sorry. Baker Mayfield. But even Baker Mayfield has been known to run from time to time. But not as much as Kyler Murray, right? So,
yeah, the weather game you're talking about. Was it 31-mile-an-hour winds, occasional rain, gusts over 50 miles an hour, and it's right there off the lake. So the winds are going to be even stronger down there. So yeah, so it does sound like
it's the Cleveland game.
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Yes, I am.
That sounds like a run game.
Yeah, add to that. Add to that, Connor.
Yeah, I'm just on the same wavelength as the Doc right now. Think about it this way, guys. Because we're talking about Chase Edmonds or Kareem Hunt, right? Which defense are you more willing to bet against? Okay, for me, it's the Texans every time.
It's the defense, it's the game script, and it's the player. I mean, look at the history of what they've done.
Yeah,
I know the metrics are favoring Edmonds because of the workload. That's why they're favoring him.
And the line. The old line, supposedly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I mean, even still, man, it's like we've seen that the running backs in this offensive scheme are not performing. Kenyon Drake, I mean, we just assumed there must be something wrong with him. Oh, Chase Edmonds is here. Yeah, it's going to be – oh, he looks exactly like Drake now. What happened? It's the offensive scheme, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. You guys convinced me. I'm staying with Kareem Hunt, even though Nick Chubb is going to play. The I one thing I was thinking about, which was making me lean that way, and I hate thinking this way because you know how I'm a positive guy, but we just went over what the weather is going to be: rainy, windy, right? Not exactly the kind of turf you want to take out like your star running back that's coming back from a knee injury. Okay. It's slushy games like that allow for a lot of like ankle knee injuries because just you slip out, I mean things just happen. You get hit awkwardly, this goes that way. So I'm not sure how much they're going to be using Chubb. So you guys might be right. So thank you, man. Thank you. But this is our 30-second show, guys. It's November 14th in this foul year of our Lord.
Can you
and
guys
we
think of
got
any players that wear 32?
32. Oh, I should.
I'm 32.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, there it is. The Doc. He wears 32.
There you go. There you
There
go.
you go. Also would have accepted David Montgomery or
Ah.
Matt Forte.
Oh, heyo. Look who's Google searching. Yeah.
That's
In
off
the brain.
yeah.
In the brain. Yeah. So today's gonna be a good show. We're gonna do our shoot or ceasefire for the week coming up. So that's gonna be a lot of fun. And but we always we're gonna go over the Reaper meter and also the 5-second fuse, where I'll go ahead and I'll mention something to each one of these guys, and we'll get their opinions on it. So we got a lot going on. So let's just go ahead and get started. So Doc, hit us with the Reaper meter, my brother. And you're the Doc. You need any news, man, on the Reaper?
I'm back to a 1. I'm settling back in. There was stuff that was happening that it was just kind of reminding me that, oh, we're in a pandemic, things are going bad, and around the country numbers are going up, but the NFL seems to be managing it. Both the NBA and the MLB managed and made it through, and the NFL seems to be doing all right.
Mm-hmm.
And they whatever they're doing with the contract tracing and close contact and everything, I mean, it seems to be working. I mean, you got murmurs of players and coaches complaining about it. Aaron Rodgers came out this week saying some stuff about the inconsistencies of the policies, and I mean that's everywhere. That's everywhere. And
we lost we lost Connor, man. Holy mackerel, dude! He totally like this. He gets that.
What I was saying, but anyways,
I'm back. The
Oh,
cable was loose. The cable was loose, guys. My bad.
These inconsistent, I mean, we see them everywhere. We see them in everyday life, and that's just what it is.
That Connor was just showing to you guys. He was showing you exactly what happens whenever somebody gets put on the COVID class close contact list, like Big Bennett is now, and Matt Stafford was. They're gone for a second. You're like, where'd they go?
But
What's
then
happening?
it's fine.
They're right when you need them. They're back. There you go. Connor, what's your Reaper meter? And again, guys, the Reaper meter is 1 to 5. How we feel if the COVID virus is going to end the season early.
I'm at a
Go ahead,
1.
Okay. Oh, we're back. Oh, so we're all.
Because
we're
my
getting
only
that.
concern was Big Ben being on the COVID, because we were talking about quarterbacks that have been known to run. Mason Rudolph has been known to run away. And for that reason, I was not looking forward to him being under center. But
I think it's funny because his number was up because he was afraid a quarterback that helps his team wasn't going to play.
Yeah.
That's like not what this has to do with at all.
But it's how my mind works.
Well, dude, we get there in the end. That's what matters. Yeah. But yeah, I'm at, I'm an optimist.
Are you now?
Yes, I am. But like, here's one thing that happened that want to make sure and throw out there. It's the reason why I'm leaning in a positive manner is because, no pun intended, Cleveland had a staff member test positive, so they shut down the facility yesterday. They just shut it completely down. However, you heard what we just discussed. they're activating Nick Chubb. So on the football side, everything is still going. The game's going to go on. Everything is fine. Everything's working fine. So I can't help but just do one right now. Yeah, it'd be a one. I'm going to go down my half point because I was 1.5 before. So now I'm down to one. And those guys were on two last time, and now they're down to one. So is there any news on the COVID front that I missed, guys?
Nope. Nope. And for me, I went up to a 2 because of the news last week about expanding the playoffs if they had to for missing games, and that kind of that news made me a little nervous, but then it just went away.
Yeah, just magically just went away. That's awesome. All right, well, let's go ahead and jump into the 5-second fuse. Now, this could be the first one with Connor. We started this last week, and it seemed to work really well. But let's see if it goes just as well with Connor and board. It's kind of a wild card, and we'll see how it works. So, just again, guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to mention something, and just take as close to 5 seconds as you can. Okay, just explain like either your thoughts on it, the fantasy impact, something that what you think the effect is going to be from this. Cool? We good? Okay, I'll start with Doc so Doc can show Connor exactly how it goes. Okay. Okay, Doc. Alan Lazard, he might not play against the Jags, but if he does, how does that affect things?
I'm tempted to start him in the flex, but I just feel like this game is going to be under control early on, and it's going to be the running off.
Cool. Connor, Kenyon Drake, game time decision.
Well, it's going to be his first game back in a while, so it's if we're not feeling that in on Chase Edmonds, why should we really feel that much more in on Drake? I think he could have a decent game, but I don't see him having a great game.
All right. And just I know a little stretch in the 5, but effect on Chase Edmonds if he plays?
No, not
okay.
really.
Okay.
Same thing as Hunt.
Cool. All right. Doc, Tromaine Pope is playing versus Miami, practice in full.
The Miami defense is a bit more solid than what we've been expecting. So,
all right, Connor.
A return game.
Okay, Connor. Justin Jackson and the defensive end Joey Bosa are out. How does that affect things?
Game's more high scoring.
Okay, all right. Doc, we're staying. There's a theme here. Kalen Ballage has been elevated from the practice squad.
If you want to play that backfield roulette, go ahead.
Who would you bet on? Yeah, on the wheel. You have to you have to put a ball on the wheel. Where are you putting it on, or where are you hoping it lands?
Ballage. He looked like a monster last week.
Okay.
Monster Man Huxtable.
Connor, Laviska Shenault was ruled out. So what's the effect there?
I don't know who that is, Brian.
Really?
No.
Okay. Doc, same question.
That makes, in theory, you should be more psyched about Chark, but I don't know.
Okay, cool. All right. How about this? Oh yeah, you know this guy is Connor. The Giants are putting the running back Devonta Freeman on IR.
Yeah, Devonta Freeman is Freeman no more. He is Devontae Hurtman.
Okay. All right. And Doc, Joe Mixon is doubtful. Impact.
Roll out Bernard if you have to. He's facing a Pittsburgh defense that's tough, but he's going to be the featured back.
All right. Connor, David Johnson did not practice on Friday and looks to be out for the game. Impact.
Let's just hope that Duke plays like a Duke of royalty and not a Duke of suckiness.
And not like just a Duke. Like
yeah.
He laid a Duke. That's awesome. Doc, Kyle Shanahan said that Jerick McKinnon will get a lot of work.
I don't believe anything that filthy liar says.
Double what he says.
Okay.
He said he had tired legs, and then he came out and ruined anyone who was playing Hasty's life.
Okay. All right. Okay. Connor, Mark Ingram practiced.
That's still a game time decision. You got to monitor that.
Okay, if he plays, impact.
That's something that you're looking at it up until 11:40.
If he plays, impact.
If he plays impact, so you go from having 2 running backs that are splitting carries to 3. It doesn't seem like a good thing for fantasy.
There you go. Awesome. I like that now. I think at the end of every one of them, I'm gonna try to remember to go impact. I like that, dude. It makes me feel manly.
That's what she
Um,
said.
Doc, TJ Hawkinson is questionable with a toe injury. Impact.
Oh man, it just makes me nervous about Stafford. His streamability maybe makes you more in on Marvin Jones Jr.
Okay, we'll talk about that. Yeah, I would say Danny Amendola, but we'll talk about that. Yeah, Connor, Chris Carson and Carlos Hyde haven't been practicing. Impact.
Yeah, Chris Carson also came out and told a fan, "Fuck your fantasy team. I don't care about it." So he actually said that in a DM. I'm not making that up. Like the guy like tweeted or no, he commented on Chris Carson's game and said, "Hey man, you're ruining my fantasy team. Like screw you. Like tape up your foot and go play." Chris Carson was like, "Man, fuck your team. Like pull up," and like sent him his address. Like Chris Carson sent the guy Chris Carson's address. Like come over to my place. So
Well,
for fantasy purposes, I'm out. I'm out, man.
okay, I would say though that it's not cool, man, to like message or contact an athlete.
No, yeah, come on,
saying
guys. This
shit
is
about
this
your
is a game.
fantasy ball.
This is a
Yeah,
game, man.
That guy got what he deserved,
And I hope that he
so-
pulled up.
Yeah, dude, that's just that's just stupid.
Especially when it's about injuries and stuff like that. You know,
Yeah. Like I
Um,
understand like getting mad at a guy if he's doing bad when he's healthy, but when he's injured, come on.
Like Connor said, it's a game. Come on, guys,
Yeah.
it's a game. All right, and then we'll end with this last one, which is actually it kind of almost in an odd way. It kind of like segues perfectly into this one, Doc. Austin Eckler posted a video of him running with a statement saying that, "Hey, fantasy owners, if you still kept me, it's getting closer." So there's one guy that said, "Screw your fantasy team," and another one said, "Hey, man, look at me running. I'm coming." What's the impact?
if you hung on to him, great. If you haven't, try and trade for him. Maybe someone else doesn't see that news, and you can get him on the cheap and have him for your playoff run.
If you wanted to trade for him, just what would you trade? What do you think you can get for Austin Eckler? If you're one of these people who are like, oh, maybe this is a good time to trade high or something. What do you think you can get?
I don't think you could trade high. That's the problem. I mean, he hasn't been in, and then that backfield is going to make you leery. I think it's a buyer's market for him, not a seller's market. So I think you could trade low for him. Like say, you picked up Giovanni Bernard or, Chase Edmonds, who is in theory not going to have value in a couple of weeks, but that other team needs to win now. You could probably trade him for Austin Eckler, and you've got a great piece in a couple of weeks when playoffs are getting near.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Connor, would you second that motion, man?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting though, because I think that just want to make a real quick point that you said talking about Chase Edmonds. I think Chase Edmonds is just like Kareem Hunt, where they both do better when the lead back is there.
Would you still rather have Austin Eckler when he comes back than Chase Edmonds?
Oh yeah, I definitely, considering how the Lynn coaches, whenever Austin Eckler is back, he's going to make it a point to feed him. It's going to be like, my vet's back, that whole goodwill. He worked hard to get back, so you deserve this. I mean, so it's going to be full Eckler. So yeah, you're right. It's probably best to hold on to him. That is all the 5-second fuse impact that I got. So let's move on.
The impact of Chris Carson and Carlos Hyde being out, because I feel like we just started talking about that story.
Oh, well, how about Doc? Why don't you go ahead and throw in there then, dude?
Hold DJ Dallas.
Hold DJ Dallas?
Yeah, grab him.
Yeah, I second that.
Yeah.
Okay. What about the fact that Homer is back now, man, and he seems to be the thing,
Seems to be the thing, or do we actually have, because we have numbers showing DJ Dallas getting work?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that Travis Homer did more work. I think he got more snaps last game once he got healthy.
Yeah, but did he get the touchdown?
I am guessing he did not. Right, Connor?
He did not get the touchdown.
Okay.
That's
That
my question.
Okay. Okay. Well, yeah, DJ Dallas, or if you had to choose one, which one you go DJ Dallas over Homer?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. With that, let's move on to the shoot or ceasefire.
I know y'all been waiting to see who I was gonna shoot on.
And it begins, guys. Hold on, strap it in, and this would be a good
Strap
time
it
for us
on.
let's. You know what? At this point, we want to thank our sponsors. They are supporting.
The people who enable
Yeah,
me to do this.
they support the show. Yeah, yeah. Doc, why don't you start off, man?
All right, I'm gonna do the one that I like doing, the Sports Host app, because all those other guys, y'all got this high volume music radio down. You got all the radio. Sports Host app, great place to go and talk about other, talk about sports with other people, hang out. It's not a toxic environment. You know, you don't want to be around toxic people. Toxic people are just that. They're toxic. Go to sports. Low
Yeah.
toxic.
Nice. Connor, where can you go to hear a show like Andrea B's vocal sounds?
The pride of Sunnyside, man.
Where can you go to see shows like the Business Knowledge Broker Show?
High volume music radio.
Where can you go to see a show like the Soul Brother Show?
I want to hear that soundbite again.
I love it.
You can do that at High Volume Music Radio. Click the link below to listen to the show.
Oh yeah, and you also will get yourself some What's Your Mind with what's on your mind with Aunt Boogie.
We got
and
there.
Blame It on the Boogie, and our show too. So please go check out highvolumemusicradio.com and download the app. You'll be happy that you did. All right.
Will be met.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Vote for me, and all your dreams will come true. Yeah. So let's go on to the shooter ceasefire. Go for it, Connor.
All right. So
It's killing me.
we're gonna go by game, right?
Oh, yes, Santo.
Okay. No.
Yeah.
I have all the
games.
games.
Yeah.
I have all the games. Don't be like that. So the first game we're doing are the Texans and the Browns.
Okay, cool. That's the
So
weather game. That's the weather game. I think I
It's
just
the
laid
weather
down
game.
what the weather-
Yeah,
what it's gonna
so-
be.
We talked about the running backs here.
yeah,
Mhm,
yeah.
I think we're all shooting on Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt.
mhm.
Now, what are y'all doing with the quarterbacks and wide receivers here?
Well, I do want to mention real quick on Cleveland's side, dude, that they are getting their their starting guard back, Wyatt Teller.
Yeah, you
I'm-
want to
yeah.
shoot on the running backs even more.
Yes, that's right. That's right there. So I want to make sure and throw that out there. But why don't you go ahead and get us started, Connor? Yeah, you said
The
the
thing
wide
is
receiver-
going to be that Baker Mayfield, he likes to throw touchdowns, but you don't know who he's going to throw it to. He might throw it to Jarvis. He might throw it to the second string tight end, or some fourth string wide receiver that happens to be on a play in the red zone. So I see the Browns scoring a lot of points, but I'm not shooting on any specific names. But I would shoot on Baker Mayfield. So I'd say Baker Mayfield, Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt.
Are you concerned at all? We saw a weather game take place between the Browns and the Las Vegas Raiders. And what was the score of that game, if y'all recall?
It was low.
Yeah, it wasn't very. It was.
Six or something like that?
This is what I remember. What score? 6.9. That's Kareem Hunt's score.
Right.
That's the score I remember.
What I remember from that game is they just kicked field goals. There were no touchdowns. So take that into account when you're thinking about, like, you know, the fantasy options for the game.
Usually, kicking is what suffers with the wind.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying that's what the score was for that game. I mean, it was a very low scoring affair. So, you know, whether you want to bet on the quarterbacks, I mean, that's running backs. You can still get some value out of them if they don't score a touchdown, especially if they're pass catching back like Hunt. Same with receivers, but quarterbacks, if they're not scoring touchdowns, you're not getting the points you need out of them.
Yeah, you just convinced me. I was gonna take the over in that game, and now I'm taking the under.
Yeah. One thing I would tell you guys is that the wind affects long balls. They don't really affect the short passes, right?
And he likes to throw it in the red zone. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So I would definitely shoot on as far as Cleveland side. I would put in Austin Hooper, and I would ceasefire on Landry and also Higgins, Rashard Higgins. I think he's still going to do something, but not in a weather game. He didn't do anything then. I am a little nervous about Austin Hooper because if you remember this name, Harrison Bryant, from a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago, when he broke out, the very next game he played was that weather game you talked about, and the passing was not good at all. So I think it's gonna be more run heavy. But go ahead on Houston, Connor. Who would you shoot on?
Yeah, and let's try to pick it up a little, guys. Let's. I mean, I don't think anyone is really going to do that well outside of Watson. I mean, Cooks, maybe he seems to be a shallow guy. I'll say Watson and Cooks, but that's it.
No Duke.
The Browns have kind of a good run defense. I mean,
They have a great run defense,
and the Texans' line isn't that good.
Yeah. Good point. Yeah. Okay. So you're saying just Watson and Cooks. I think I'd follow you on that. So what about Fuller? You left out Fuller. Talk about it.
I just don't think that this is the environment for a lot of long balls to Fuller. I could be wrong. It just is not. That's not the vibe I'm getting.
Cool. All right. So, and of course, the tight ends are a mess, and so the kickers and the defense. Would you start the Cleveland defense?
Starting Cleveland D, sitting
Okay.
Texans D,
Okay.
sitting both
Okay.
kickers.
All right. Then why don't you pick the game?
All right, the over-under, ladies and gentlemen, is 46.5. Odds have Cleveland to win by 4. I'm taking the under and Cleveland to win by more than 4.
Score? You want to throw out a score? You feeling it?
What? No,
wanna throw out a
I'm 28 to 13.
Whew, look, there you go, dude. That's digging in there, gut. Moving on. Yeah.
Next, we have the Washington football team, known as WTF, at the Detroit Lions. And you know what? Since Bill O'Brien is no longer with us, Matt Patricia. Thank you.
Woof.
Kenny Galladay is coming back. Do you start him, resident Kenny Galladay owners?
Oh, you're playing with my emotions. He's out, my brother.
Oh, I thought he was questionable. He's already out.
Oh, yeah, he's out.
Well, that answers that question. Start Marvin Jones.
Now, I would say Danny Amendola, man.
No.
He's at dude. He leads the team in targets. Okay, and Marvin Jones looks like he's lost a step. And there's talk about T.J. Hawkinson not playing because of his toe. We just talked about that. So I think the guy who's going to benefit the most is going to be Amendola.
Okay.
So I would sit Jones. That's what I would do. So do you think? What about the running back on there, Connor?
Running backs.
Woo, there you
Yeah.
go. Go for it. Which ones? Is there anyone that you start or you,
No.
you shoot on? None.
It's
Okay.
it's RBBC, so it's no good for me.
And Washington's defense of their front is pretty tremendous.
Yeah, with Chase Young.
Yeah. So good call on that. Doc. Oh, this found perfectly, dude. You got something special from Washington over there, man. Who you shooting on?
Well, Gibson was questionable throughout this week, but it seems like he's set to go. So I'm shooting on Gibson, and honestly, I think Alex Smith showed an affinity towards McKissick. So
Nice.
shoot on McKissick as well. I think that both of those are totally shoot onable. They're startable options at running back. I'm shooting on Terry McLaurin and Logan Thomas. And you know what? I'll shoot on the D. I think they're going to get to Stafford. I think that Stafford is going to put up some points, but I think between sacks and turnovers, you'll make up for that.
Man, I think that if Hawkinson, I would watch news, but if Hawkinson is out, I think Washington D is going to be a top 3 defense.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, I think it's something to keep an eye on. Just want to drop a couple bits of knowledge to back up your things. I think is kind of neat on McKissick. He led all the running backs and routes run last game. He had 14 targets, and that's because of Alex Smith taking over. Likes to throw to him like you're talking about, right? He's a check down quarterback. Also, the Lions have allowed the most fantasy points to running backs this season, so that's a favor in Antonio Gibson and McKissick. So I'm with you, my brother. Connor, and anybody you would anybody you would cease fire on in Washington? What about Alex Smith?
I don't think you're starting. If you know how to play fantasy football, you're not starting Alex Smith as your quarterback.
Kicker?
No.
Okay. All right. Is there anything that Doc said that you might have?
No. I agree.
Okay. 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 All right. You're going to pick that over under, then we can.
So for this game, the over/under is the same as the last. We have 46.5 odds Detroit to win by 4. I happened to watch the WTF locker room last week, and Scary Terry is stepping up as a leader already. And Ron Rivera really likes to see that. He's one of my favorite coaches in the league, actually, because he went all the way up from being an assistant, so he used to have to get everyone's coffee every morning. So that guy's a hard worker, and he knows how to. He's a man of the people. All the Panthers hated him leaving. Like none of the Panthers locker room wanted Ron to leave. So I see Washington actually winning this game, and I have them winning by more than 4. I'm taking the over because the Lions' defense is suspect.
All right, man. Did you score point? You want to do a score, point score?
I don't think he likes doing the points.
I don't like doing the points. I don't get that right usually. I'm not there yet.
Okay. All right. If are you feeling it, Todd? You feeling
No.
nasty?
I don't feel it.
Oh.
We had to make these picks last week, and I hated it.
Yeah.
So uncomfortable.
Moving on.
Jacksonville Jaguars, the Green Bay Packers, and
I'll pick this one.
okay, you feeling it? Well, I can tell you the Green Bay is gonna pack Jacksonville's.
Yeah.
They're gonna give Florida man a reason to be crazy.
Hey guys, weather game, man. It's gonna be 24-mile-an-hour winds. Okay, it's gonna be gusts of over 40 miles an hour, and it's gonna be light rain mixed with snow.
This is a run game. This is a game the Packers are gonna run. For that reason, I'm taking the under.
Well, Rodgers, dude, he did fine last time they played. They played against Minnesota in a weather game like this, and he did fine.
Yeah, Aaron. I mean, when the dude's home stadium is a stadium that's a weather stadium, like the majority of the season, they know how to play and be effective in that.
I know, I know. It's just with Matt LaFleur, you know, he likes to have a balanced attack, and I feel like this is a reason for him to bring.
Well,
out
they
the
just got
running
Aaron
backs.
Jones back. You know, you get your feet back, and you're playing a team that is
bad against the run.
You're gonna score points, and you're gonna keep them off the field. So that you give the ball to the running backs.
I am feeling Green Bay blowing them out so bad that Aaron Rodgers sits on the bench and the rookie quarterback sees some action for the first time.
Ooh.
Well, you know, if in order for that to happen, Aaron Rodgers would still have to have a good game.
That's very true, which is why I'm still starting him.
You're welcome. Look at that layup. Set it up. You slam it down, brother. Little alley-oop.
So we're gonna be start Aaron Rodgers, start Aaron Jones. Of course, you're starting Devontae Adams. You're smoking crack if you sit Devontae Adams. You know, I would not start any of the other pieces, including Lazard or the tight ends, because it's just a little too volatile. And I've already talked about the Packers kicker, so don't even ask me. And you know.
Game.
I would start the Green Bay's defense in this game.
Ooh, even though I would not do that.
Well, it's Jacksonville, man.
I understand that, but their number one thing that they're bad against is the run. And you saw what Dalvin Cook did to them.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And right now, dude, James Robinson, dude, he's on pace to finish with 1,610 yards from scrimmage and 14 touchdowns.
That's very true. But there could be a situation in which he has a great game and the Jaguars still do bad. The quarterback still does turnovers. Wide receivers could fumble. All kinds of stuff could happen.
Okay, well, just keep in mind the Packers defense. We talked about the Houston defense.
I know. Most. I was looking at their numbers before the game because I wanted to predict the spread on this game, and their offense is bad, and their floor is 16. That's the most they've given up. That's the least they've given up. I'm sorry. And I thought, okay, well, Jacksonville's probably among the worst offenses that they've faced outside of the run game. They're kind of in turmoil right now, so I could see the running back. The running back can do good, and they'd not score a lot of points.
Yeah, it just the thing that makes me. I agree. I mean, dude, I see your point. The only thing I would throw out there is that the Packers defense, they ceded the second most fantasy points to running backs this season, and the weather we just talked about. Ethan made a very good point about how Green Bay, like their home stadium is, like they know how to play in it, right? Well, that's not Jacksonville's home stadium. Okay, they're gonna be like, this is cold. Here, Robinson, take the ball and run with it. We don't want to do none. We don't know what to do with this win.
Well, we
right?
have our. Well, let's
It's
see
so-
what happens
so-
tomorrow, man.
so-
Any
so I
given
think
Sunday.
I think James Robinson's gonna have a good game. He's the only guy that I would shoot on.
I'm
um,
not saying he isn't. I'm just saying start Green Bay's defense.
Okay, cool, man. Cool. There's definitely a path to that, and I feel you, my brother. And then on Jacksonville, I would sit Luton, and I would sit. Sorry, Doc. I would sit Shark. And I would sit the defense, and I would. Of course, we didn't. We don't even need to talk about the defense. I don't know why I said that, or the kicker. Don't even need to talk about that guy. So, yeah. So yeah, Shark, dude. Again, just like what we talked about with Fuller, same thing with Shark. This is the wind's going to be too much, dude. I don't think that's going to be a good game for him. It might be a Keelan Cole game if whoever's going to go well in that.
Real big names. But no, I agree with you. Doc, you have anything you want to add?
Nope.
Okay. So I'm taking, like I said, I'm taking the under, and I'm taking the Packers to win by more than 13.5, which is what they're favored to win by. The spread is 47.5 for those listening at home. Moving on.
Oh, hang on. No. Doc said that he wanted to call this game when
No, I said I'll call who wins it. I didn't say I'm going to call this.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha,
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, moving on.
We need to
moving
get
on.
that. I want to do that soundbite. I'm writing that shit down, man.
Oh, that is
Next-
funny, dude.
Next game, we have the Philadelphia Eagles playing the New York Giants for a good NFC least matchup. Now, for this game, it's going to be interesting. We have some guys coming back. Dallas Goedert, start him. Carson Wentz, sit him. Fulgham, start him. I am sitting the Eagles defense and their kicker, and I'm sitting. Is Boston Scott's still injured, right?
No, Sanders is coming back.
Sanders is coming back.
Yeah,
this week?
Sanders come back. Yeah, this game. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Start him.
All right. Yeah, you're sitting the kicker. And well, Alshon Jeffries, he's coming back this game.
Sit him, man.
Okay. All right. You want to take New York there? Doc.
Golly. I mean, so with Devontae Freeman being on the IR, if you want to take a shot on Gallman, I'm not thrilled about it because it doesn't seem like any of the running backs have really been able to have that much success.
It's a superhero name. He's Gallman.
Yeah.
Gallman.
I'd start Shepard and I'd start Ingram, and that's about it.
I'm right there with you. I did find some. See, this is what I know about the thing that popped out at me whenever I was looking at that. Because you're right, it's pretty obvious. But the defenses, you look at him. Now the Eagles, that they seem to have a stronger defensive line than offensive line that they're going against, right? And Jones, he has a 6.1 yard per attempt mark. He's committed 13 turnovers, and he's taken 28 sacks this season. So this might be a good game to start the Philadelphia defense. On the other side, on the Giants side, he's playing against Carson Wentz, who has gotten
Starting the Giants D.
6.2 yards per attempt, committed 16 turnovers, and has taken the most sacks this year.
And he's Carson Wentz.
So with that information, because those are the things I was like, those defenses, I wanted to research a little more on those. So you're starting the New York Giants defense. Did I sway you on the Philadelphia defense?
No.
Anybody? Any takers?
If you're desperate, it's a streaming option.
I'm not that desperate.
I'd rather say nasty. If you're nasty.
Cleveland is available on waivers. I would much sooner pick them up than Eagles for this week.
Dang, that's really good.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Okay. All right. Did we miss anybody?
No. So
Okay.
for the over-under on this game, it's another 46.5. Vegas is freaking lazy. All these 46.5, 46.5, 47.5, 46.5. How many times are you going to go to that well? But
I'm lockdown, dude. They're on lockdown.
Yeah. Yeah, allegedly. I'm taking the under. And they have New York winning. I'm sorry. They have Philadelphia winning by 4, but I'm taking the upset. I'm taking New York to win by more than 4, and I'm taking the under on this game. I think Daniel Jones is going to very easily outduel Carson Wentz.
All right, cool. Moving on.
Moving on. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are trying to, they're trying to show everyone that they can be more than the kid that gets a wedgie every now and then in recess, because they're playing another division opponent, and they don't want to get a wedgie like they got last week, man. That was brutal.
Yeah, they are brutal. Yeah. Speaking of somebody that carried around his books instead of using a locker and have played violin in high school, I know wedgies. Yeah, they are painful. Yeah. So I would go ahead on this one on Tampa Bay. I'll take them. I would go ahead and shoot on Tampa. God, you got me saying it now.
Brady.
Tom Brady. Yeah. Tom Brady. Chris Godwin. Gronk. Antonio Brown. I would definitely shoot on the D, all over that D.
For those of you who listened last week, just as soon as last week Brian was saying that Antonio Brown was sucking and that he was already ruining the team.
Well, no, but I would do that.
What made the change?
What made the change is opportunity. I saw Tom Brady having focused effort on trying to get the ball.
What I tried telling you, man.
I mean, dude, in fact, the person that you did not hear me say to shoot on is actually he's firing on is
Mike
Evans.
Evans.
Yeah, I think that's the guy who's going to go down, and I don't know what the hell the coach is thinking, like openly in the media saying, "Hey Tom, Mike Evans was open." I mean, what the mess was that, dude?
Okay. Let me dissect.
Talk about it.
No, that is very specific because that was against Marshawn Lattimore. Marshawn Lattimore has shut him down for years. Marshawn Lattimore owns his keys for all intents and purposes, man. And the thing is, because Mike Evans is big, but he doesn't have a lot of muscle on him. Like whenever you look at him, like he has kind of like that Alshon Jeffrey build. He's big and he's long, but like in terms of stature, but he doesn't have a lot of actual muscle on him. So it's easy for Marshawn to shut him down. Brighter days ahead for Mike Evans.
I see. So that statement was in a vacuum. It's accusatory, but in context, it was in defense of Mike Evans.
Yeah, you need to understand. Bruce Arians he's working on levels. He's not conveying information for the point of what you think he's doing. He has what he's saying. He's communicating subliminally to his people. No, he is. That's how coaches work. Look at how Phil Jackson works. Look at how all those guys work. He's doing that to bring the best out of his guys. That's what winning coaches do. Not guys like Bill O'Brien, Matt Patricia, etc., Adam Gase. They don't know how to communicate with their players. That's why they do bad.
What's the communication if we're starting you, you're your guy, but if you make one fumble, then you're out of the game? What's that communication?
You're replaceable.
Yikes. Which means that the only running back I would start is Leonard Fournette. He dominated the snaps last game, and the Panthers, man, they've allowed, an NFL high 63 receptions to running backs, man, and they've allowed the fifth most fantasy points to running backs. So
obviously we think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to do good. Now, Doc, you have investment in some of the Panthers players. How do you think they're going to do?
Woo.
I'm still playing them. I'm gonna shoot on Mike Davis, of course. He's gonna get the work, and I will shoot on. A lot of conversation between the top three receiving options, right? You got Samuel, you got
DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson.
DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson. I almost called him Anderson. Get those names mixed up. But if we're going by like target share, I think Robbie Anderson is an obvious start. So you're going to go for Robbie Anderson. Where it gets more murky is when you're looking at Moore and Samuel. And it seems like when one feeds, the other doesn't. And it's just taking a shot on who you think is going to feed. As of late, it's been Samuel. But the best way to get Moore to feed and Samuel to starve is for you to start Samuel over DJ Moore. So I just don't know. The only one I think is locked down is Anderson, and that's about it.
Can you start calling him Mr. Anderson?
Mr. Anderson.
I think he's earned that. We need to do
Mr. Anderson.
We need to record that.
Yeah, straight up. Yeah, I agree with you.
Obviously, we're starting Sly. Do you start Teddy Bridgewater? I personally say sit him this game. I think the Panthers offense is not going to do well against this Tampa Bay defense.
Good deal.
Tampa Bay defense did show that when there's a lot of options out there, they can't lock them down.
That is true.
I'm nervous
True.
about Mike Davis because the Tampa Bay defense is extremely good against the run.
Yeah.
And so, so I'm worried about Mike Davis.
Yeah, I'm look, if McCaff is in this game, this is a whole different conversation. That's the
Agreed.
type of player that he
Agreed.
is. That's why that's his
Agreed.
name.
No, you wouldn't start Mike Davis if you had him.
No, I would no. But I'm not
Are
gonna
we starting him in our team?
What?
We're for that.
well
Yeah,
I-
we are. We are.
we need to talk about that
You gotta
then.
practice what we preach there, bro.
Well, we should talk about it. It's my bad.
Oh, yeah. If you wanted to move over to that right now, we could do that. Or
we should finish this. We
Yeah,
can do that
yeah.
after the show.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. The thing, with Mike Davis, I'm with you on that. On now, was there a clear? You said start Mr. Anderson,
Yeah.
and ceasefire on the other guys, right?
It just depends on what options you have on your bench. If you don't have, if it's like, oh, I can do DJ Moore, or I can pick up Ayuk off of waivers or something like that, I would just go with DJ Moore.
Yeah,
Or
if I was in that spot, I would shoot on Samuels, and I would sit DJ Moore because I just want to make sure I see what's going on with that. But Samuel seems to have a safe floor right now. But that's all I got. Connor, you want to get that over and under, my brother?
Yeah, the over under is 50 points with the Tampa Bay Bucks to win by 6. I'm taking the under and Tampa Bay to win by more than 6.
Nice. Okay, moving on.
The Denver Broncos at the Las Vegas Raiders in another divisional matchup. Now this game's going to be interesting
Okay, why is that?
because Vegas has it as a high-scoring game, and Vegas is betting on Vegas.
Ooh, look at that. How about that? Little insider information there. You might want to.
I want to look at that.
Yeah, Vegas is betting on Vegas. You might want to
Yeah.
take that one seriously.
Yeah.
So, Ethan, which one do you want to start with, brother?
I'll go with the Raiders. So we've made this point quite a few times, right? The Broncos defense. I know I said I'd talk about the Raiders, and I'm immediately talking about the Broncos defense, but it's super important. They're a funnel defense, right? They go at the run. Okay. So I think it's kind of like with Mike Davis. I mean, what are you going to do? You going to sit him? You know what I mean? Like are you going to sit Jacobs? I don't think you are,
I would. At this point, I would.
Okay, well, out of just the thing that makes me worried most is seeing how much work the other running backs are getting in that backfield. That's
Exactly.
what we're nervous, not the Broncos defense. That wouldn't be enough to turn me off of starting him. It's the combination of that and the other players.
Okay, y'all.
I would start. I would shoot on Derek Carr. I would shoot on Waller. I would, it's like taking a shot on Nelson Aguilar and Henry Ruggs out there. It's which one's going to get the bomb. I think that one of them will. I just don't know which one it's going to be. Last week it was Aguilar. This week it could be Ruggs. But if you're playing the hot hand from last week, I guess you'd be shooting on Aguilar. I'm not starting the defense for the Raiders. And I'd start their kicker.
Okay. Daniel Carlson, he's been real well. Yeah.
Yep.
One name that since if you're digging deep and if you're trying to figure out between Aguilar, Ruggs, then you're also considering Renfro.
Yes.
Yeah. And the thing, but that's the one guy I would definitely say no on because the Denver defense has shut down the slot. And that's where Renfro lives. So yeah, you're right about the two that you're shooting for there, or you're focusing on. Connor, you want to take Denver?
No Fant. I'd start Locke. I'm not starting the running backs because I think you're playing shit stick on that. And I'll start Jerry Jeudy and McMagnus.
Still questionable, right, with the shoulder injury.
Yeah, I think he's playing, dude.
Yeah, I think he's playing.
Yeah, but I would still cease fire on Judy and Tim Patrick. The only wide receiver I would shoot on would be KJ Hamler. only because the Las Vegas defense has been more vulnerable to the slot than the outside wide receiver. So if I'm like looking to see who's going to produce the highest on the wide receiver core, I think it's going to be Hamler in this one. That's just me, but I love Judy, especially the breakout game, and I've wanted him to break out, and he's just an exciting player to own. So I won't blame you if you start him because. I mean, he might be breaking out. We might be seeing something special happen. What do you guys think about Melvin Gordon or
I already said shit stick.
shit stick? So not one of them.
Yep.
And you said the defense, Connor.
I said sit the defense, start the kicker.
All right. Okay. Oh, Magnus. That's right.
McMagnus. So for this game, it's over under time, right?
Oh yeah.
For this game, it's a 50.5 over under, and Vegas is betting on Vegas to win by 3.5. I'm taking the over, and I'm taking the Raiders to win by more than 3.5.
Oh wow. Okay. It's gonna be a fun game. All right.
think
Yeah.
so.
So you really are serious about shooting for either Aguilar or Ruggs. I mean, you think it's gonna happen? Wow. Okay. Moving on. Like it.
So the Los Angeles Chargers, they don't get a cool thing because of how they played last week, and the Miami Dolphins are playing this week, and maybe Los Angeles can bring the upset and get a cool name back because the Dolphins are currently favored to win over them.
Yeah. Well, the defense because of Joey Bosa.
They are 5-3. The
Yeah,
Dolphins, that is.
yeah. That one touchdown that if they would have got at the end of the game, not only would they have won their game, I would have won my game, my fantasy game.
We know.
Yes. But I would still shoot on Herbert. Even though that the Miami corners, their secondary is pretty strong, I'd still shoot on Kyle Allen and Bagley. The kicker. But I probably wouldn't shoot on Williams because I'd be really concerned about those cornerbacks. I would cease fire on the running backs because I don't know who's going to get it. I mean, we already talked about that a little bit, so no need to go into it. I would also cease fire on Hunter Henry. He seems to be being ignored by Herbert, which was fun for me because I played against him last week, which didn't know about, didn't matter anyway. And of course, we just talked about the defense is what I would cease fire on that. Real quick, guys, asking for a friend, Herbert or Rodgers? Who would you start?
Rodgers.
Even in a weather game, man.
Okay, all right. Just asking for a friend.
I think
All right.
I think Herbert's gonna come out and throw some picks in this game. I think Miami's gonna punish him a bit.
If this is a game that would happen in this game because those cornerbacks are pretty legit. Good point on that. Miami. Do you want to do Miami, Doc?
Yeah, you know what? I had this conflict. I had to choose between because I think Tua is going to come out and have a great game. And I was conflicted between him and Tannehill. And at this point, with only half of the data in, I'm regretting not going with Tua. That is to say, I would shoot on Tua. I don't know what's going on with that backfield. There seems to be a lot of uncertainty, with Jordan Howard, Ahmed. And then the question about Burrito, what's going on with him? Burrito. I want none of it. All right. You know what? I want to shoot on Parker because we see the script happening like it did the same time last year where Preston Williams goes out and then the people who picked up Parker for that last half of the season, he probably won your team.
Can I say something? You just point on something that I had as a ceasefire, but you just made a point I didn't even think about, dude. Who broke out also towards the end of the year whenever Preston Williams went out?
Sicky.
So if anybody that has a spot on their roster, take a flyer on a tight end. If he's in your pool, you might want to look at that.
The what makes me nervous, the reason I did pick when the news came out about Preston Williams, I went and grabbed Parker immediately. What makes me concerned is the groin issue. That wasn't there last year, and it is there this year. So, yeah, the opportunity's there, but is his groin going to hold up? Sounds so weird to say.
I know, dude. Hey, man, I'm a Crowder owner, so I know what it's like to hope and pray on another man's groin. I know, dude.
Gotta lay hands on him.
Okay, let's move on from that. So we're talking about the.
Hang on. I would shoot on the something that's being ignored, and I wanted to go and talk about. He's only 16% owned in leagues, in Yahoo leagues, which is Sanders. Okay, Jason Sanders, the kicker. That
Yeah.
guy had he's kicked 17 kicks in this season, and he's the only kicker to not miss one. And we're talking about like he's had like 4 or 5 like 50 yarders, 40 yarders, long ones, and he's not missing. So keep an eye out for that, guys. If you need a kicker, that's one that's going to be available in your league. Nobody's paying attention to him, and he's secretly good. He got like 14 points last game.
Yeah, and this is what we're talking about. The main point is that he's secretly good, so it's not necessarily like he's gonna be the best kicker even this season. It's just like, well, oh, he could be a name. He could get into the room that Justin Tucker, Sly, and Young Wei Koo are in.
Well, there's people who are without their kicker this week,
Yeah.
right? You need to go grab someone, and this is a great guy you can have for a start.
Yeah, he is.
Well,
But he
yeah.
also could really be making a name for himself because that's talking about accuracy. He's really
Well, yeah.
accurate.
Yeah, and see, this is kind of like what I'm seeing is shades of Zane Gonzalez, because we didn't know who that guy was, and then all of a sudden he came on the scene, and just in our league, guys, that kicker is the number 3 kicker. It's Young Wei Koo, Blankenship, and Sanders, and I think it's only because Young Wei's on his bye now, and the other guys have already gone through their bye.
Yep.
So you're talking about a top 3 kicker there, guys. That's available in your pool. So keep that in mind. Okay. So that's all I got. Connor, your turn. Time to move in on the
over under for this
Yeah.
game. So I'm going against Vegas on this. They have Miami winning, but I think that LA played really hard last week, and I think Justin Herbert's a bright quarterback. I actually see them pulling the upset on this game. So I have them winning by more. So the margin of victory is 1.5 points, mind you. So I have them winning by 1.5 points. I do think it's going to be a close game. It could even be decided by a field goal. But I like the Chargers winning, and I'm taking the over in this game. The over-under
Cool.
is 48.5, mind you.
Gonna be a good game. All right.
Okay.
Moving on.
This is probably going to be the one of these next 2 games I think are going to be the most exciting games all week. So
Okay.
these are special games. So let's get through them quickly because we got a lot after them.
Get excited.
The Buffalo Bills at the Arizona Cardinals, and this is going to be a fun game, guys. We're going to have a lot of players for fantasy, mind you. You got a lot of names. For the Cardinals, I'll do the Cardinals.
Yeah, man.
Kyler Murray, and he reminds me of Sonic the Hedgehog, man. Seeing the way he moves around on the field, it's like he's just chasing those rings. It's like when he
Good
gets into the
comp.
red zone, he gets into.
Yeah.
The doc knows what I'm talking about because he played a lot of Sonic growing up. He turns into Supersonic. Whenever you turn into Supersonic, you're unstoppable, man. That's how Kyler Murray gets when he's in the red zone.
Dude, I got you, man. You press down to go woo, 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 woo. You let it go. Yeah,
You get
dude,
all
I
the
know, man.
rings.
Come on, dude. I was on the Sega Genesis.
And
I was when it first came out.
If Kyler Murray is Sonic, DeAndre Hopkins is Knuckles for all intents and purposes. I'm starting D-Hop.
Ooh, what happened last game?
We already talked about that. He was
Yeah.
scripted. But
Okay, all right.
you start D-Hop. You
Okay,
don't
what
sit
about-
D-Hop.
Okay, yeah. What about Kirk?
You start Kirk.
Okay. Yeah. Here's the thing I'm worried about with D Hop and Kirk. Just real quick, Kirk has had 5 touchdowns over the last 3 games, and Tre'Davious White should be shadowing DeAndre Hopkins, which he might get scripted.
I
out
know,
again, so.
I know, but what I'm saying is this.
you start 'em.
Let me
Yeah.
let me talk about the numbers, okay? Let me
Go for
let me
it.
break it down.
Woo!
You're painting. I know you're an optimist, but you're painting the bad right now because you're painting a scenario in which Tre'Davious White gets the best out of DeAndre Hopkins.
Huh?
Now that is not a 100% guarantee. DeAndre Hopkins
All
could
right.
go out there and sun Tre'Davious White and put up 3 touchdowns on him. That's the type of player that DeAndre Hopkins is. That's the range of his outcome. So, out of all the players in the league, the way I do it is, I play fantasy football like you do. I have players that I like to invest in. I have players that I like to bet on doing right. Even if, the odds aren't always against them. DeAndre Hopkins, man, I'm always going to bet on DeAndre Hopkins doing good. I'm
Yeah.
never getting rid of my Texans jersey.
You're 100% right though, because you're talking at the beginning of the show. You talked about when we were talking about Edmonds and Hunt. You said that even though Edmonds is going, they're going to be in a dome. You said that Kyler Murray likes to take control, and the target leader, of course, is who you're talking about, D Hop. So yeah, D Hop definitely.
He owns a ridiculous percentage. When you look at the percentage, I think it's in the high 20s to maybe 30% or something like that.
Yeah, it's up there. It's up there. Absolutely right about that.
I mean, it's Devontae Adams like. It's
Yeah.
him. It's Devontae Adams. Keenan Allen has a ridiculous target percentage too.
Yep. True that. But I would put Kirk in there because I just think it's going to be. You guys were talking about game script.
You can put Kirk in there.
Was talking about game script, and this game script says a lot of passing.
So let's. I'm sorry. I've been ranting. We're gonna start Kyler Murray. We're gonna start Diop. We're gonna start Christian Kirk. You're gonna start Gonzalez. I'm not.
No, sit that
so
fool.
Drop his ass.
I dropped him. Yeah, I dropped his ass for Sanders. Jackass.
To quote 11
49.
from Stranger Things, I dump your ass. And
Yeah.
I'm sitting the Cardinals defense.
Yeah, basically the thing is about Gonzalez is that he's a good kicker, not a great kicker, a good kicker, but he barely gets any opportunities, and so because
pick up
Kyler
the Dolphin
Murray
guy, drop his ass
Yeah.
and pick up the Dolphin guy.
that's exactly what I did.
That's exactly
what I did.
That's
yeah.
what you do. Now, Doc, who do you start on the Buffalo Bills?
Awesome, Connor. Look at you rolling with that, my brother. Get it.
I
Yeah.
start Josh Allen. I start Stephon Diggs. I think John Brown is going to come back and have a good game.
Agreed.
I would start Moss because I think he's going to have plenty of red zone opportunities. Not feeling as good about Singletary in this one because he just doesn't get the high value.
Who?
Dingleberry.
Yeah, Dingletary. Yeah.
Dingletary.
Yeah.
I'm not starting the buff. I'm cease-firing on the Buffalo defense.
Good to go.
And I mean, Cole Beasley is interesting only because I feel like it's going to be a high-scoring game. But he's at the bottom of my list, so I'm thinking ceasefire.
Yeah, I would drop Cole Beasley because I think Cole Beasley did well when John Brown was hurt. John Brown is now healthy, so I think he's going to take the he's going to go into the spot where Beasley's not going to be relevant.
So
anybody?
Diggs, John Brown, Josh Allen,
Moss.
starting those four. We're not worrying
And
about
that's
the
it.
tight ends. Yeah, we're not. Those are the guys. Yeah.
And even the defense. The defense is sitting. The kicker
In the defense.
And just because I like saying it, Dingletary.
Now for the over under, this is a 56.5, and the Cardinals are they're going to win by 2.5. That's what Vegas is saying. I'm taking the over, and I'm taking the Cardinals to win by more than 2.5 because that's essentially saying they're winning by a field goal, which is what I think the game will be decided by. I think this is going to be a high-scoring game.
Oh, then if it's going to be by a field goal, then you know who's going to win. It's going to be Buffalo. It's Gonzalez, dude. I'm just saying.
This could go to overtime.
I'm just saying, get that man a glass of water. That's all I gotta say. He's
Get him a
choking.
glass of water. Can we move on?
Please.
Now this is I think I'm not gonna lie. My gut is calling for vibes of that one Rams Chiefs game. You guys remember the greatest game of football ever?
Oh yeah, that Monday night game last year.
The greatest.
Yeah.
To me, that is the greatest game of football ever.
Oh
And
yeah,
I think we're gonna get volume 2 of that. We're getting the Seattle Seahawks at the LA Rams.
Nice.
And they're gonna see what's gonna happen. You know.
Yeah,
Vegas is calling this game to be close, and they're also calling it to be relatively high scoring.
Yeah, I'll start with. Well, actually, Doc, you start one, dude. Who do you want to start with, brother? You go for it.
I'll go with the easy side, which is the Seahawks. I think I'm going to start Russell Wilson. I'm going to start Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf. I'm going to, who I'm starting in the backfield just depends on the news. And we're not going to know that until tomorrow. But assuming Hyde and Carson are out, I would definitely shoot on DJ Dallas and would consider Homer in the flex. I would also start – the kicker is Jason Myers, correct?
Mm-hmm.
I would shoot on Jason Myers. I would cease fire on Seattle defense. That should not even be in discussion. They are they're historically bad. That's all you need to know. They are a historically bad defense. So I'm ceasefiring on them, and I'm also ceasefiring on the tight end options in Seattle.
Well, yeah, the only thing to consider about that, if you're hurting for tight end, Hollister has overtaken Seattle's number one tight end role. And the Rams, they shut down wide receivers, so the feeling is that the tight ends might get the look.
I'm
with
not betting on DK Metcalf getting shut out.
Okay, all right, but I'm just saying that's just
Tyler Lockett.
If you're in a spot, but yeah.
But I think if you drafted those guys, you're starting them for obvious reasons. So
yeah, sure,
I'm shooting on DK. I'm shooting on Tyler Lockett. I'm shooting on Russell Wilson. I'm shooting on DJ Dallas.
It's just saying that Hollister is an option.
We can move to the Rams because I think only one of us does teams.
Yeah.
Yep. Go.
I think that for the Rams, I'm shooting on Jared Goff. I'm shooting on Robert Woods. I'm shooting on both Everett and the other tight end Higbee. I'm also shooting on Darrell Henderson Jr.
What about Cooper Kupp?
Yeah, Cooper Kupp.
Josh Reynolds.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I'm halfway there with you. I wouldn't do the tight ends, but Seattle is on pace of allowing almost 1,000 more passing yards than any other team in NFL history. But so I see your path. I see what you're talking about.
That's why I said historically bad.
Historically bad. And the people, the fans are pretty much everyone's calling for the guy to get fired now that's running the defense essentially. Which is paralleling what the Chiefs did in 2018. So the Seahawks, they have the recipe for 2018 Chiefs. That's what I'm saying. So that's why.
What about the defense?
Well, what do you think? You sit both defenses.
Okay. All right. Nice. Okay.
The Bills D last week against the Seahawks, they were a top contender.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Not nearly as good as the Rams defense.
I understand that. I get that. But and we talked about this, I don't know if it was earlier or if it was before the show, but the Seahawks have lost 2 out of 3 games, and I think that their backs are against the wall. You know, they were doing so good, and they started sniffing their own farts. You know, they're probably Russell Wilson is not the kind of guy that's going to take this lying down. That is not in his DNA. So I am betting on him coming out there and making a statement this week.
See, I have to recuse myself from this discussion because I'm playing against Russell Wilson, and I hope nothing but the worst for the man.
Yeah.
Not injury, just bad performance.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, for the sake of my entertainment, I'm sorry, Brian, but I'm actively rooting against you on that one. So the over-under is 54.5. I'm taking the over. Vegas has the Rams winning by 2.5, which I totally disagree with. I have Seattle winning by more than 2.5.
All right.
Moving on. The 49ers at the New Orleans Saints. Now, Doc, you kind of have a heartbeat for both of these teams. What do you think is going to happen in this game? Who do you think is going to do good on the Niners?
On the Niners?
Yeah.
Why are you giving me that shit stick?
No, because you've handled the running backs and you've handled Ayuk and you've
and I mean my handling of the running backs is don't go near them.
Okay, that's what I want to see, people.
Mullins, you're not. I mean, in the receiving core, I mean maybe you're going to start Brandon Ayuk since he's back. I still don't want any tight ends. I don't want to. I mean, Reed isn't fully healthy, and then I'm just thinking about the quarterback play. What did you see when they were facing the Packers defense last week? They couldn't do anything. They could do nothing. And you saw what the Saints defense has really shorted up over the last several weeks. I mean, the way they just totally shut down all of Brady's weapons and options and Brady. So, I'm just not thrilled at all about any of these options with the Niners. I don't think they're going to be able to move the ball.
I agree with you. What I do think is that there is going to be a very real garbage time in which 1 or 2 players will have a salvage day because of it, and I think McKinnon could be one of them.
I mean, you could have that theory then, but did that theory come through with you with Tom Brady at the helm and all of those receiving options last week?
That is very true. That is very true.
But that's an anomaly. There was something weird going on. I don't know. Maybe
this is the Saints are at home, and the Saints are better at home. Brian wants to get something in. Say your thing, Brian.
Just questioning Ethan about the San Francisco D, since that's
they're being seeded. They are not being started.
Are they rostered or are they droppable?
I mean, I would consider dropping him. I mean, they've lost key parts and they're not getting them back, and they're in one of the toughest divisions. No, they're in the toughest
The
division.
best, the NFC best. Yeah,
And
that
bad
really
offense.
settles it. Now, so that's the
Yeah,
Niners.
Good point, Brian.
Now, Brian, you handle the Saints since you're a saintly guy. And before I do that, Voldemort, you got your thing. I'm starting him.
okay. You are starting Voldemort?
I'm starting him as my tight end this week in my ESPN league.
Oh, okay. He's a tight end, not as a quarterback. Gotcha.
Yes.
All right. Yeah, dude. I would definitely thank you, sir. Thank you for the compliment. That's literally the nicest thing anybody said to me this week. So thank you.
Your mama.
Oh, never mind. A little roller coaster ride with Connor. You got me? There you go. I'm Rick James, bitch. Yeah, we didn't talk about that guy. What about Rich James? About Richie James? No? Okay.
It makes me nervous that Ayuk is coming back. It makes me think that Richie James is not going to be as relevant.
Gotcha. All right. Yeah, I would shoot on Drew Brees, Alvin Kamara,
AK
the defense.
41.
Yeah, exactly. The defense, Lutz, and of course Michael Thomas. Yeah, he should be matched up against Emmanuel Mosley.
Yeah. Tomas will do good.
Yeah, who's among the league's most generous corners in the fantasy points allowed per route.
He wants you to do good. He wants your fantasy team to do good. He's one of the good guys, people.
I hope
Remember
for your
his
sake,
name.
Connor, I think you know why I'm saying this. I hope for your sake, Michael Thomas doesn't do
I hope
well.
Tomas doesn't do well either.
Yeah, for your sake.
I
See,
hope he plays like Tomas instead of Thomas.
Unlike you rooting against me on the other game, I'm rooting for you on here to make sure. Because there's a reason why I'm saying that. I don't want to mention
thank you,
it,
brother.
but there's a reason for it. I'm hoping that. Anyway, so and then on I would also I think I said the defense. I would cease fire on Emmanuel Sanders, Latavius Murray, and Jared Cook. I would cease fire on him too. I know that is against San Francisco defense. We just talked about it, but I think they're pretty good against the tight end. So I wouldn't want to really roll Cook out there, especially with Thomas being back. And I myself, because I'm in Yahoo, in ESPN, he's listed as a tight end, so he's absolutely a golden start. I think that's fantastic about Taysom Hill. But in the Yahoo leagues, they still have him as a QB, so I would not. I would cease fire on Voldemort.
Yeah,
QB.
I'm purely abusing the position. I did the same thing when James Conner was injured in 2018, and Jalen Samuels became the starting running back and was listed as a tight end in the Yahoo League.
Which ring is that?
That is the 2018 ring we
That's
have
that
right
ring.
here. That's for
Yeah.
Alvin Kamara. I also traded for Dalvin Cook and got him, and did not have to have him any of the time he was injured. And then I also picked up Damian Williams when he started doing good, and then Jalen Samuels. So my lineup had 4 stud running backs.
I'm responsible
Good
for one.
times. Good times.
I'm responsible for one. Okay. Okay. Yeah. I helped you out with that one.
Yeah, because I traded Jordan Reed for Dalvin Cook.
Yeah. I told you to do it. Yeah. But the thing I should have probably done, but whatever, dude. He's got more guts than I do.
Well, for the people out there, I almost ruined myself that year because I drafted Adrian Peterson and Marshawn Lynch. And Josh Gordon.
But to be fair, dude, Marshawn Lynch was good for the first half of
Till
the
he got
year. So
injured.
yeah.
But I
to be
digress.
fair.
Moving on. We are
Yeah.
currently on the Niners New Orleans game. We've called everybody. What do you want to say, Brian?
Over under.
The over-under is 49.5, and I have New Orleans matching what it says them to do. They're supposed to win by 9.5. I have them winning by more than that, and we're going to take the over. Yeah, we are rabbit trailing. So let's go move on to the next couple games. These aren't really that long. Cincinnati at Pittsburgh.
Mhm.
And we already kind of talked about this one. So you guys already know the feeling. We're going to start Big Ben. We're going to start I say start Juju, start Chase Claypool, and start Deontay Johnson, and start James Washington in the flex if you have to, and start Ebron even.
Oh yeah, Ebron scored in back-to-back games and gets a Bengal defense, man.
Speaking of the Bengals,
they've given up second most fantasy points to tight ends this season.
Who do you think the Bengals shoots on our Doc?
I'll shoot on Bernard, and that's about it.
Not Burrow.
No, man, I think he's
Okay.
gonna have a bad day. I think that if he's not injured at the end of the game, then that'll be a good thing. That's like the
I might not start Higgins anymore.
There's talk that the game is going to be lower scoring because of Big Ben playing through some knee injuries and also sitting because of COVID. So and of course Pittsburgh's allowed the fifth fewest fantasy points to quarterbacks. So there's a lot to be said about that. But I'm playing against the Pittsburgh defense, so I'm hoping that Joe Burrow just explodes and T. Higgins is the man and Gio Bernard just runs all over them.
Well, for the
And-
second straight week, I am pulling out the Chase Claypool, Juju Smith-Schuster stack.
Oh, if it works, it works, dude. A couple of years ago, I did Fuller and Hopkins for a while, and that did real well for me, so it could work.
Mhm.
What about Mr. Randy?
Dude, fuck off with that Randy thing. You know he's not a startable kicker.
I just
in my
don't.
eyes.
I see this going one of two ways. I either see, well, you know what? Last week, the Cowboys with Gilbert at the helm were able to get into the red zone to kick field goals.
Yeah, but how much of that was them underestimating them, you think?
Yeah, but I mean, you could say the same thing in this instance, and you have a small sample size of film to look at and prepare for Joe Burrow,
I
right?
totally get that. I just think that Mike Tomlin goes into his locker room and he says, "We slept on this team. We do not fucking do that next week against the Bengals, a fucking divisional
No, I
opponent."
get that, but it's hard to not sleep on someone when you don't have a lot to help you prepare for them. Because
Okay.
sleeping on someone means you don't do your homework, you don't do your preparation. I'm calling that the Cincinnati offense is going to be held to very probably 10 or less points. I can see
Yeah.
that happening, but I see the path
I agree. I agree.
to is actually them challenging Pittsburgh.
Yeah, and Bullock is number 4. He's a top 4 kicker right now.
And
Connor,
he misses when you need him to.
Yeah, he can.
Connor,
Connor.
he's the Texan.
Yeah, you
yeah.
never as a Texan, him and Chris Brown or whatever his name was, that one kicker that was on the Texans so long ago, back when we had Schaub. Those guys are unforgiven. They are never forgiven for all the kicks they missed.
And I think Randy's an Aggie. If you,
Yes, so he's double damned.
yeah. So keep that. Yeah. So Connor, you didn't talk about Connor, or did you?
Start him.
Okay. Start James Conner. Deontay Johnson.
Start him. I already said
Okay.
start him.
Okay. And Benny Snell. I mean, is that even somebody you should keep? You should be in the roster. Okay.
We should not be talking about
The
it.
only way I can see him being relevant is if
Connor gets injured.
Pittsburgh just dominates the game and they're up by a bunch of scores, and just kind of the same situation you were describing with the Packers putting the backup quarterback at reps. Like, we know Connor is subject to injuries, so if they're up and they're up 2 or 3 scores and it's the second half and they're just trying to run down the clock, I can easily see Snell coming in there and getting work.
Yeah, deep league, he could be a nice flex. Absolutely. Yeah, good point on that.
Alrighty, now the over under.
AJ Green. anybody's buying?
No,
You buy Beyond
the
Green?
wide
Okay.
receivers you want to bet on are Boyd and Higgins. Actually,
Good.
I think
Good.
Higgins is the one to go for because
he's the one I roster.
that's where it's going to go to is T.
Okay.
Higgins.
Cool. All right. Over under.
This is the boy. So 45.5. I am taking the over. Pittsburgh to win by 7. I'm taking them to win by more than that. Moving
All right.
on, we have now this could be an exciting game, but I think it's going to be a one-sided game. I talking about angry sex. This is the angry sex matchup. The Baltimore Ravens at the New England Patriots. I think that Lamar Jackson is going to go out there and he is going to destroy the New England Patriots defense. He's going to have a field day. I'm talking at least 4 touchdowns.
Running or passing?
Yes.
Yeah, I think if he gets 4 touchdowns, it's going to be running. Even though there's no Stephon Gilmore, dude, he hasn't really been that accurate.
Okay, but this is I'm just telling you the gut.
I'm not poo-pooing you. I would definitely shoot on Lamar Jackson. I just think it's
Okay.
going to be his legs, not his arms. Yeah. He's
And I
the
also
greatest.
think the storyline that we don't want to overlook is going to be the Baltimore Ravens defense having their way with the Patriots offense. I mean, their offense is horrid, and Cam Newton loves giving the ball to the other team. And I think that that's going to be a storyline that should be watched even as much as the Ravens offense is going to be the way their defense handles the Patriots. I think they could almost score as many points as the offense.
Yeah, no start. I would not shoot on anybody in New England. I would cease fire on everybody in New England. What do you guys think of Mark Andrews?
Start him.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, if you go to the waiver wire, yeah, you can find someone, but at the best, you're going to find someone who will match what Mark Andrews can do on any given Sunday. And you spent the draft capital on him.
Yeah, I think the one thing though that the defense does well in New England is shut down tight ends. So I'd be nervous about Andrews. What about Marquise Brown?
Start him.
Start him. Okay. Yeah, I'm hoping the worst for that guy too. I'm playing against him.
Sure.
Tucker.
Start
Yeah,
him.
Tucker. Okay. All right.
Boy.
Okay. Over under.
I am taking the over, and the over under is 43.5. Baltimore to win by 7. I have them winning by more than 7.
Nice. All right.
Moving on, talking about another divisional game, we have the Minnesota Vikings at the Chicago Bears.
It's our last game, right?
Yeah, this is okay. David Montgomery is in concussion protocol, and we don't know. As an owner, he's listed as questionable. He only has like 4 more hours today, and then we're gonna know. So we're gonna know by tonight on Saturday, November 14th when this is uploaded.
Has he practiced?
No, he hasn't practiced yet.
Yeah, that's not good, man. That's like the David Johnson treatment. Yeah,
I'm
so I
pretty
would
sure
probably-
he's gonna get.
I think he's
listed as
probably
out.
going to sit. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you do with the running backs there on Chicago? man?
You do not shoot on any of them. I'm gonna talk about the Bears. I will not start Nick Foles. I will not start Cordell Patterson because I know you're gonna ask me that. I will start Allen Robinson because he can
Shoot
still
on.
have a good game. I will shoot all over him. I will not shoot on the kicker, and I will shoot on the Bears D because of Kirk Cousins.
What about Darnell?
No, I
No?
left him out for a reason. He's not important.
Okay. I would because it's Minnesota.
I know you
defense.
would.
Yeah, but yeah.
That's the grudge you're holding over what they did earlier to you this season. They're I don't think they're legitimately that bad.
What's that? Minnesota. Oh, Minnesota.
Yeah, because you got to remember what team you're talking about. You're talking about the Bears, bro, and the Bears have Matt Nagy.
I agree with this, but part of me is like
2 seconds it took.
they have a winning record. You know what I mean? Like,
I know, but it's like that meme where Homer looks skinny, but he has all the fat like taped to the back of him.
yeah, I mean, I've seen you post that meme,
Yeah.
definitely. But that's I mean, they got talent.
But they
They
have
got-
arguably their best player, David Montgomery, is out.
Yeah. I would argue their best player is Allen Robinson.
Well, yeah, but the run sets the pass. He you know what I'm saying? Because the way that Nagy calls plays,
Montgomery has never been great.
he's had good games. He's had games where he scored like 20 to 30 points. He's had flashes. Yes, he's had flashes.
Or
Yeah, remember when we went to see the Texans Raider game last year?
That was last
week, yeah,
this year.
he had one this year too. He had a 20-point game in fantasy. So he has a moment every now and then, but the Bears' offensive line has always been bad, so that's what I blame.
That's true.
Yeah.
I'd be. A lot of people are leaning towards Nall. Ryan Nall, because he got the first down. But you're right. You're right.
Yeah, it's,
That Montgomery. The reason why Nall did so well is because the defense did not scheme for him. It's the whole Alexander Madison thing. Alexander Madison did well because the defense didn't scheme for him. Once they schemed for him, he didn't do well. They'll probably be scheming for Nall now. So I wouldn't. I'm right there with you. Minnesota. I would go ahead and even though the run defense is very, very strong and stout for Chicago, I would.
you always start
definitely shoot
Dalvin Cook. That's talking about a top 3 guy in the league right now that you should feel confidence in starting every week, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I would start Thielen, or shoot on Thielen. Cousins, I would shoot on him because I think that they're gonna have to pass more, because I think Dalvin Cook can get you more ways than just running.
You mean catching?
That's correct.
Freudian
Then also,
slip.
yeah. No, I said he can get you in more ways than just running, meaning catching. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, Thielen's a receiver, buddy. So why
No,
would you?
I said
Okay,
Dalvin
never
Cook.
mind. What? Oh, you said Cook. I thought you were talking
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
Thielen.
Oh,
What about
okay.
Justin Jefferson?
No, I don't think so because I think that defense is
I'm
going.
shooting on him.
Okay. I see because okay, this is where I'm at. Okay, so I would shoot on Irv Smith and
See,
then
that's the thing.
ceasefire
It's like
on
you
Jefferson.
you would shoot on an arguably second string tight end, but you wouldn't you wouldn't shoot on a dominant wide receiver too,
Well, it's just that he's the
because of
pass
the
catching
matchup and the yada
Chicago.
yada.
Yeah, yeah, and also I mean he did well last game, so it looks like there's a pattern that's forming here. So that's why I would do that. But yeah, you're right. But
Well, because
I
he
mean
does the
that's
play action bombs, and Cook sets up the play action bombs.
then cool. I mean it's a philosophy
That's
thing.
very
I think
true.
I think we're right on both, but I think we both can agree on ceasefiring on the kicker. And
Yes.
Madison, Rudolph, all of them. I think we can agree on that. What were you? Where do you stand on the defense, Connor?
Not worth
with,
mentioning.
oh, even with Nick Foles coughing it up and all that stuff. I mean,
You know
he's
what?
not-
Sure, start him.
okay, all right. Because I mean, here I am arguing for somebody you said that I was, jaded against. That's incredible.
Well,
Doc,
no.
did we miss anything, Doc? Or are you still too busy making changes like adding Washington's defense? You think you're slick, my brother? I saw that.
Oh shit.
Hey man, I've been trying to stack my defenses for the rest of the season.
Dude, anybody that knows you knows that you love D. You just can't get. I mean, the more D, the
We got
better
the
for you.
D.
You like
Hey,
to go deep on that D.
One of the things that I was going to mention in the closing remarks was how you have things set up, specifically defenses, that you could play out with for the rest of the year. This
Exactly.
is the time to cross multiple defenses.
Amen.
Yeah. All right, man. I think is that all the games?
Yep.
All right, we made it through. And if you guys y'all made it with us,
Please, if you're still here, please like and subscribe. You're
There
a
you
real
go.
trooper.
there you go.
And if you're mad and you've been waiting this whole time to dislike, hit it twice.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with Connor there. It's good advice, strong advice from a young man. Also we want to go ahead and thank our supporters of the show. High Volume Music, radio. There's a lot of good shows there. We already went over that. Connor, why don't you talk about that sports app, my brother?
So the Sports Host app, if y'all haven't downloaded it, y'all need to get on it while it's still time. Sports Host app is currently free. That could change because that's how friggin' awesome it is, man. You get to interact with a global sports community, man.
Nice. All right, and parting shots. Let's, Connor, how about you start it, my brother?
Well, I just think that we need to give in to the any given Sunday and just really look at the probability and try to think of every pathway and just go with what you feel is going to work best.
All right, Doc.
I will repeat what I said a minute ago. This is the time of year when you should have the playoff run in mind. So take a look at matchups, make sure your lineup is good to go. And that's especially salient for the defenses that you have. And also your kickers, because weather is going to keep getting crazier and crazier as we enter the winter season. So maybe find a good dome kicker that's out there.
Dome.
Yeah. And those are parting shots from two guys that right now are sitting in the playoffs. I'm still vying for the playoffs. All right, so I'm 4-5 right now, 7th place. So I'm fighting right now, guys. So if you are in my spot, this is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to have as much fun as I can. All right. It's already been disappointing, so I'm already getting numb to losing. So you probably are too, so 5 losses will kind of do that to you. So now just go ahead and just focus on just having fun, do the best you can. Don't overthink things like I was doing with Edmonds and Hunt. And just remember, it comes around once a year, so if you do lose, don't get upset, and drop everything and say, oh, it's whatever. Stay with it, man. It's still going to be fun. It's just around just for once a year. Have a good time while you can. There's not really much you can do with this whole COVID situation to have fun. So, whenever it comes around, make sure and grab it with both hands. All right. So on behalf of Ethan, the Doc Marshall, Connor, the Gut Marshall, and me, your humble MC, Brian, the Amigo Baldwin, we want to thank you for watching. We hope the best for your teams and the worst for your enemies. And remember, everybody, in life, as in fantasy football, as in life, don't dream it, be it. Enjoy your week, guys. Bye-bye. Good luck tomorrow.